we are preparing a one-pot meal using cast iron, and it's going to be quick and easy. We're also taking a look at that little herb garden for the kitchen that we put together last week. And you know what? Let's just enjoy the family. So stay right
Come on
there.
in the kitchen. We're having fun. Tonight, we're just putting together a really quick dinner, and I'm going to take you right along with me. Sometimes we need a fast meal. We need a meal that we can have some leftovers and use it for lunch or use it for another day of dinner. And this is going to be one of those. Now, I kind of had a child moment because I love kielbasa. I love kielbasa. And I always buy turkey kielbasa because for some reason or other in my head, I just think that's probably a little more healthy. Now, you can keep your opinions to yourself. Beef versus pork versus turkey versus chicken, whatever it is. It's just food. And we're trying to fill up bellies. But I had half a green pepper. I had a few little mini red, yellow and orange peppers left over that I wanted to use up. I had half an onion, and I had 2 cans of what they call Bush's Southern style white beans. And we are going to put together a quick meal with these, and it's going to be delicious. And you're going to say, darn, why didn't I come up with that? And good old Mr. Bush, we can depend on him. I do. I've got a lemon, and the lemon has absolutely nothing to do with beans, but I'm going to stick some of this lemon in my glass. And I have a bottle of lemonade, and I just want some fresh lemon in there. So I'm cutting a couple of thin slices of lemon that I'm going to throw in there and add that little bit of citrus freshness that I'm going to put in there. Or I may decide to just put some water in there. And if that's the case, I'm on a lemon thing right now. So I've got my little lemon cup holding the other part of the lemon. So that's there. Now, I'm going to try to do a little slicing and dicing. I'm going to cut up the leftover green pepper. This is what you do. When you have things that are left over, before I even think about possibly going into the grocery, I try to use up what I have. So I've got this little piece of green pepper, and this kielbasa has been in there. I have a few things in fact, I have some things in the freezer I really do need to go ahead and get used. And so the green pepper needs to be used before it really gets past its point of usefulness. I'm going to take this little mini pepper, and I'm going to dice it up. I'm kind of quarter it a little bit so those little pieces are small, because I'm going to use seeds and all, the whole thing. Now, I have more than I need, so I'm just going to let you know that. But I'm going to put one of each color in there. So here's an orange. I have a red one. And I'm going to cut that up. It's just going to give it nice color with the beans. Color always adds to your company or whomever your guests are. If it's just you, then, color is what you want. Color makes you happy. And it's also appealing to your eyes when you're looking at your dish. So there are the red ones. We got red, we got orange. And I can't decide if this one is orange or yellow. I think it's yellow. He's somewhere in between. But you know what? We're gonna use him. Cut that little tip off. Okay. Now let's finish this up. And that part's done. So if you like beans, then this is the way to go. Now you could serve this with rice over rice, especially if you have a fairly large family. You may want to serve it with rice because then it will stretch much farther. But that's not something I have to worry about today, trying to get it. I just want, this is just what we're going to eat. So let me find the opening. Sometimes I have an issue with that. And I'm going to peel it back. And I'm going to cook all of it. Now tonight we're going to do a little cast iron number. Everything is going to get put in the cast iron. And we're going to slice. I really could have done both sides at the same time. I don't know what I was thinking. Do it all. And I'm not making them extremely thick. I kind of want them thin because I want the meat to impart its flavor. And even if you decide not to use all of the meat in this dish, after it gets nice and brown and toasty, you could take part of it out, serve some of this with some scrambled eggs for breakfast. That would be delicious. So, I'm just going to finish cutting this. Then I'm going to turn around, get the skillet going, and we are going to be ready to prepare this dish. And all that's going to stay there. I'm going to go ahead and open the cans. And like I said, this is Bush's Southern Style Beans. Now, once I open this, we'll decide on whether or not we need to, what extra flavors we need to add. You always have to taste it. I've already washed these tops off. Always do that because you don't know where people's hands have been, and you don't know who's been handling your groceries. So for that reason, wash them off. Okay, the stove is nice and hot, and what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to add the meat and let that meat cook. It's going to take a little while. You can hear that sizzle, and that is exactly what we want. Now, I'm going to get my red. I don't want it too high, but I want it high enough so it will get nice and toasty and brown on each side. I'm going to give it time to do that. I did not want to add too much oil, so I wanted to kind of look at it before I start to think about oil. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add just a little bit of bacon drippings, just a tiny bit. So I've got my spoon. Because, you know, turkey doesn't have a lot of fat. So I have 1 teaspoon of drippings. Whereas if you don't have bacon drippings, then you know you can add 1 teaspoon of oil. So I have that. I'm going to spread that around the skillet. Let everybody get happy with that. Oh, that's perfect, and that was just enough. Because you don't want this real greasy. Now, I have this on a pretty high heat. I'm going to say it's a medium high. Because you can see as I'm turning these over, they're getting nice and brown and toasty. And that's what we want. We want those flavors. And once it's pretty brown and toasty, and this meat's going to pretty much stay in here. Like I said, it's not going to put out a lot of grease. And the only oil that we have is that oil that we put in. So you control how much you have. So here we have our meat. We're just going to give it a few minutes. I'm going to let it stay in place. I'm messing with it. I don't know why I'm messing with it. I need to just keep it still and let it brown. Then I'm going to flip everything over and we'll be ready to add in the vegetables. Okay, I'm going to have given them a few minutes. I'm going to start to flip them over. They're sticking just a little bit to the bottom. That means that they're imparting some of their flavors. I'm going to give them a flip. Oh, one really jumped out of the pool. You have to go get him. He's back there in the back. Okay, going back in. All right. Now, I'm going to cut it down just a little bit, and I'm going to add in the middle, I'm going to add the onions and the peppers. I'm going to throw in a little bit of black salt, a little black pepper, a little garlic, a little pepperoncino, smells good. Okay, in the center, can one. See how that looks. Guess you can tell I decided I wasn't going to save any. Not the meat anyway. Oh yeah. Well, that's going to be good. And two. I'll have all the measurements down in the description box. Add just a little more pepper, and then I'm going to add my secret weapon, a little bit of tomato ketchup. Always put a squish of tomato ketchup in your beans. Okay, I've got my ketchup. I'm just going to give it a good dollop, about 2 tablespoons. That's going to add that little bit of brown sugar. It's going to give it a nice color. And we are going to let this simmer and get nice and bubbly. Oh guys, this is going to be so good. You know, if you're going to a potluck, this would be a great dish to put together. Put it in your slow cooker and let it simmer for about 3 to 4 hours, and it would be perfect. Nice and hot. The good thing about that slow cooker, it would keep it hot while everyone is getting their food. It's got beans, it's got protein, it's got everything you need right here in the dish. Now, while we're waiting on our dish to finish simmering, because that's what it's doing right now, I thought I'd bring you up to date as to some of the things I've added into our kitchen. One of the things I found this weekend, and I am so glad I did. I did not know that Method, I knew they had dish soap, but I didn't know they had a lemon mint fragrance to their dish soap. And, everything in the kitchen now is switched over. We're all about the lemons. And if you saw Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy on Wednesday, then I did some switch out. So it's not quite as pinky as it was. We have lots of lemony things going on here for decor in the kitchen. And so that's going to be a part of summer. That's what you're going to see. And in the meantime, I'm sipping on my lemonade, and I've gotten a little too much ice, and but that's okay. I love ice, and so I have my lemonade in my cup. But I also wanted to take a moment and show you this Method lemon mint. Oh my goodness. It just permeates your kitchen when you use it for your dishwater. And also, I used it today while I was cleaning and wiping down the counters. I just made a good solution in the sink, used that, wiped everything down. And so everything had that fresh citrus lemony smell. And I think you would love it. I also picked up, I've been using the Spray Method pink grapefruit. And I found that they have the pink grapefruit in the dish soap. So and in fact, I know for sure when I first started using the pink grapefruit, I looked for it. I wanted the hand soap, I wanted the dish soap, I wanted everything. And even at Method, it was back during when the pandemic was just at its biggest and greatest, and greatest probably isn't the word, when it was at a high point of the pandemic, and I couldn't get it. And so now, slowly but surely, things are coming back to the shelves. So Target was the place where I've been able to find the Method. In addition to just going to method.com, you can certainly do that. I tried getting it on Amazon, and you can get the spray in the pink grapefruit very easily, as well as at Home Depot. And but I could not get the dish soap. So keep your eyes open, and when I find it, I'm going to put it down in the description box. And whether it's Target or regardless of where it is, it's going to be there, so that you can just click on the link and you can order it and have it either delivered, do it curbside, or just go in the store and pick it up. And so anyway, that's the new thing. Now, you want to see the babies? It's been about a week now that they have been in their little boxes, and that they've been growing under the grow light. So I'm going to flip us around so you can see how they're doing, because slowly but surely those little heads are popping up, and that's exactly what I was hoping for. A little spray bottle that I just keep here next to them, so as the soil starts to get dry, we can add a little moisture. And you can see that they're getting their heads up above the soil line. Lots of little babies in there. And I know this particular one back here that has all of those little heads popping up. Let's see if I can bring him closer. I don't know how well you can see it, but I know I didn't put that many seeds back there. But anyway, we have quite a few. And then I have a couple where I may have only one or two, where I can see them coming, but they haven't quite gotten to the level I'd like for them to be. So slowly but surely they're getting there. So we'll keep an update.
You are always welcome to join us in the kitchen to create, to cook, or just to have fun and a fun conversation. This is where we work hard, we love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Now, let's have an enjoyable time in the kitchen, making things for the kitchen. And I'll look forward to seeing you right here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. This hot, bubbly, one pot meal that we've prepared in our cast iron skillet was finished in less than 30 minutes. Now, that's my kind of meal. And it's also one of those meals that's family friendly that you can add and subtract. You can add rice to. You may want to serve it over rice, or you can have it by itself. But you know what? What's better in the evening than a warm, hot, comforting meal? And the season really doesn't matter. It's all about the convenience and being able to put a good, solid dinner on the table for your family. So let's eat, let's do it quietly, and let's just bask in the warmth and the great fragrances of what we put together.